she's not.
Good evening, everybody. Let's go to the right scene. That'll be better. Welcome to the channel. As per normal, it's card reading night, and you can find out whether you're going to make it closer to Christmas. It's just over a week to go, so as long as you hang on and do nothing dodgy, we'll see if you're going to get there. As per usual, I've got Andy in his tight red dress as my co-host,
Way.
and compare. We're going to do the card readings, obviously, so hopefully it'll be a good night. You've still got to bear with me because I've still got this horrible cold cough, whatever the hell it is, so I might sound a little bit croaky. Can't be helped, but I'll do my best. Who's the first one on the list, Andy, for card
First
readings?
on list is Tara.
Tara. Okie dokie, Tara. Let's give him a good shuffle. I hope you all pay attention to the Christmas warning, so we get no accidents over the Christmas season. Into the chat box, HTTP. Oh, right, okay. Right, here we go then. Let's see what we get. One. Is that one fitted there all right, Andy? 2, 3, 4. Ooh. Oh, that's a really odd one, Tara, to start off with. You've got the Four of Pentacles, which is to do with the material side of life. Taking a bad balance reading because you've got 3 of the 4 suits there, so, and you've also got one of the major arcana in your future position, so that is quite interesting. To start off with, the four of Pentacles always makes me think that you're at a period where, and I know it's Christmas, that you're a bit worried that money's getting a bit tight, and because it's linked into the swords thing. I would say that at this point in time, it is saying keep a very close eye on your finances. It's warning you not to overspend Christmas wise. It's always nice to be spending your money and stuff, but this is definitely saying that you've got to be careful with finances. Have a careful think about purchases coming up within the next, I'd say, 3 months, because otherwise you're going to find bank balance is going to be a little tight in the new year, and you don't really want to overstretch yourself. It's all about balancing the Four of Pentacles. It's all about balancing money. Because as you look, 2 of them, one is on the head and one is over his heart, and it's advising about letting your heart rule your head when it comes to money, and don't let your heart rule your head. That is reinforced by the 9 of Swords, obviously, because that is the intellectual card of self introspection. So that past card is definitely saying, there's been a period of maybe you've spent a little bit much this year, or there's a danger of spending a little bit. Excuse me. There's a danger of overspending. I would say it's probably recent though, and I would say it's connected to Christmas. Coming into the present, again, I think this is connected to the money thing. It's saying take a step back and have a think about your finances. Plan for the year coming, because the first few months are going to be a bit tight financially if you don't. It's definitely a sign of taking a step back and thinking. Most definitely. The good news is linking into your future is the Magician. Now the Magician signifies trickery, sleight of hand, juggling things. So what this is saying is basically, financially wise, there's going to be, you're going to have to juggle your money over the next few months. Most definitely, it's reinforcing back to the last 2 cards. There is a way forward, without a doubt, but it's one that you've got to do for yourself. Don't rely on getting money for Christmas and stuff like that. Make sure that whatever you're planning financial wise, the money's in the bank for it already. because it may not be coming in the form of gifts or anything over Christmas. Don't get sick for Christmas, Terry. Ha ha. Yeah, what it's basically saying with the magician is it's going to be a juggling act coming into the new year, because I do feel that that card is only signifying the next couple of months. So going into January, possibly the start of February. But it is saying you are going to have to juggle finances if you go a little bit heavy on the spending over Christmas. So be very, very careful about that. Going into your final outcome, again, you've got the Two of Wands. Now, this for me is always signifies a choice, and again, I think it's a choice concerning a financial aspect of your life. Um, Again, you're gonna have two choices money wise. Could possibly be the start of a new job, or a job if you haven't got one, and also another choice concerning money. But you can only choose one or the other. You can't have both of them, Tara. So financially wise, there's a choice to make, and I would say this is probably round about the start of March, after the magician card starts to go out of effect. So I get the feeling that the magician is only carrying you through till February at the latest. So I would say this final outcome card is what's telling you from March onwards, and it's definitely decisions concerning finances, but it's going to be a two-way decision. Neither of them are going to be bad, but it's to do with, this one is to do with long-term finances. So there's definitely a decision coming up regarding finances in the first quarter of the year. So I hope that helped. Andy, can you just talk a sec while I just take this call quickly? Andy?
Hello? Right. So, we've got currently 3 people next on the list. If anybody would like a card reading, just ask for cards please in the chat. Next on the list is Vicky, then we've got Sam and then Veronica.
Sorry about that. It was just Jace, he's just got back home. We was hoping he was going to be back earlier. Yeah, bus ain't turn up again as usual.
Oh wow.
Them as reliable as ever. As they always are. Who's next on the list, Andy?
Vicky.
Vicky. Okay. Let's find out if Vicky's going to make it to Christmas. I have to keep sliding them up because sure, I got the camera a bit closer today. I wonder where that bugger had gone. Oh, not a bad one. Well, this is interesting. Recent past, Vicky. Ooh. This is a card of the physical, but it's the 3. Now I always look with this card to what's lying next to it, which oddly enough is the 3 of Cups. So I think this is referring to more of an emotional thing than a physical one. It's a connection of the two, but there's been some kind of a 3-way thing going on regarding health and emotions, if you know what I mean. I don't know if you've been worrying about your health lately, or you've been worrying about the health of a loved one, but it's been playing. What the card's saying to me at the moment is something to do with both the emotional and the physical has been weighing heavily. Some kind of 3-way interaction makes me think more so that it may be a loved one or a friend rather than you yourself, but it's definitely to do with their health, because the 2 always makes me think of pairs, and the 3 always makes me think of an external source sort of thing. So that's what's making me think that it's possibly something to do with else that you've been worrying about, but has not necessarily been linked directly to you. It could be a loved one or a friend, somebody within your close social circle anyway. But it's definitely an health issue. Moving into your present, this one is this one's really interesting because I always consider this as like the affair card. Now don't take that the wrong way, but it's always to do with right your sister. Um, Now it links into the emotional three as well. So this one gives me the impression that there's an emotional situation between two people is being interfered with by a third, and this is currently happening. And I feel it is connecting back to your recent past card. So whatever it is that's gone on with the health issues have now become an emotional thing as well, and it's there's a third party interfering between two people's emotional relationship. I don't know whether it's as in romantic relationship or just emotional as in friendship, but there's a third party interfering at the moment. Maybe not negatively, but there's definitely a third party influence in something to do with an emotional situation between you and someone else. Hi Nikki, it's definitely between you and somebody else. There's a third party who's contributing to that relationship at the moment. But to be honest with you, is who is it? Is this Vicky I'm doing now?
Vicky, yeah.
Honestly, Vicky, I can't work out whether it's a negative interference or a positive interference because I really ain't getting one or the other off the card at the moment. But it's definitely there's a third input into this relationship. It's a very tight relationship between you and somebody else, and this third person is on the periphery, also inputting into the relationship at the moment. But like I say, I ain't getting off the card at the moment whether it's positive or negative. I get the sense it's a female. The third party is female, is what I'm getting. So I don't know if that'll help you in any way. I may be wrong, but that is what I'm actually that is what the sense I'm getting off the card. The third party is actually female. Hi Joanne. Um, but like I say, I can't tell you whether it's positive or negative at the moment because the card to the left and the right ain't really telling me much regarding this card. Um, I do think your third card, which is your immediate future, is definitely linking back to the present card, the Three of Cups, and you've got the Seven of Swords there. Now this is the card I always say is when people are overburdening themselves mentally. They're struggling with an issue, and I think it's gonna come from this relationship that you've got with whoever it is, and this third party. It's going to cause you a little bit of mental anguish, but not mental anguish as in really negative. But maybe you're going to worry about this relationship, and you're going to try to take on too much with it mentally. And he's telling you not to overthink. Definitely not to overthink. Don't worry, it's a positive reading because it finishes with the sun, and this is why this reading ain't bad at all. But it is saying be wary of overthinking this relationship and this three-way interaction that's currently going on. But it's gone from physical to emotional to mental, which makes me think this relationship is going through stages, and you're currently in the emotional side of it. But the first two are definitely this three-way interaction on the physical to three-way interaction on the emotional, and then it goes into the intellectual. But the intellectual is definitely referring to you, and it's saying that you're going to be worrying over this relationship, and it's telling you not to overthink it, not to overanalyze it, just go with the flow with it. Yeah, do not overthink it, Vicky. This is definitely what this card is telling you. Don't overthink it because you'll make the wrong decision regarding it. Go with your heart on this one, not your head, is what it's saying. Right. Leading on to the final one, it's the Sun, which is a card of success, happiness, warmth, general growth, things like that. So this is why I'm saying, um, This is why I'm saying that this reading isn't negative, because the final outcome is the sun. And the sun is, I always love it when one of the three astrological cards come in, which is the sun, the star, and the earth. They're always three massive positives to have as a final outcome. So this relationship that's going on at the moment, as long as you don't overthink it, it's gonna work out perfectly fine for you. And I honestly think this relationship will end up stronger than ever, as long as you don't let your head get in the way of it. Because it's like you'll start on a new journey with this person. And I honestly don't know whether it's a friendship or an emotional thing. The cards really ain't saying tonight, but it's definitely gonna improve, as long as you do not overthink it. That seven of swords is your key card in this reading. That's the one that jumps out at me the most. I always look at the four cards and see which one of them I keep looking at, and it's the seven I keep looking at, which is the one that's telling me it's the warning. That to me is coming through as a warning. So don't overthink this relationship at the moment. I can't tell you what to do about the third person, because I don't know at the moment whether they're giving you positive advice or negative advice. I really can't get it off the card. I'd love to, but I can't. So that's for you to decide. I don't know. I don't know if you're. I presume you're aware of them, or if not, you're going to be aware of them very soon. But there is a third person in this relationship who is influencing it in some way. But it's telling you, you've got to think your way through it, but don't overthink it. Because as long as you take the middle path, use your head but rely on your heart, everything's going to work out fine. Because the sun is one of the best cards to have there in your final outcome. It's definitely showing new beginnings within that relationship. But like I say, I can't tell you whether it's romantic or just platonic relationship, but it's definitely a relationship you're currently in, and it's a relationship you're currently having a lot of discussion and interaction with. So I hope that helps. Is that okay, Andy?
Mm, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we've got Sam.
Psychic Sam.
We've got Psychic Sam.
Okay. Have you got Charles in the list, Andy?
Yeah, I just had it now.
Okay. Just giving him a good shuffle. I like to give him a good shuffle, because otherwise you end up pulling the same cards all the while. Oh God, that's always a funny one to have there.
You're 4 readings away, images. So not too long away.
Say again. Oh right, sorry, I thought you were talking
Images
to
in
me there.
chat. No.
It's a bloody interesting card. Okay. Right. Sam. This is really interesting to have. I always hate it when the Wheel of Fortune drops there, because it signifies a bit of a roller coaster recently, being a bit subject to the whims of fate, rather than actually being in control of what's going on. So what I'm getting off that card at the moment is, it ain't signifying a change of luck. It's signifying, just literally being subject to the winds of fate, and not really being able to control what's been going on recently. It's a really odd one, because normally the Wheel of Fortune either indicates fate rising or fate dropping, sort of thing. So you're getting good luck or bad luck. With this, all I'm seeing off that card is the wheel actually spinning really quickly. And when I get that impression off it, that always tells me that it's being literally lost to the winds of fate. You've got no control over the wheel whatsoever. It's just been absolutely chaotic. You've been having good luck and bad luck, and nothing you've done has been able to get any kind of stability regarding fortune and stuff like that. So that is just saying that recent, and I believe it has been recently, Sam. I don't think it's been like 6 months in the past. I think it's been in the last couple of months where this has been going on, and it literally is. You've been blown about by the winds of fate. That is definitely what's coming off that card at the moment. Coming into your present, which is really interesting, you've got the Ace of Pentacles. Now, again, this to me is telling me that, and I think you got this the other week or something similar, telling you that there's some kind of business opportunity for you, Sam. There's definitely some kind of opportunity for you that's coming now in the present that could actually make you a bit of money. Now, I ain't saying it's going to be massive amounts, but there's definitely something in your cards right now, and it's saying do it now. There is a kind of like a little business opportunity, some way for you to make a little bit of cash on the side. I don't think you're going to turn into Lord Sugar or anything, but it's definitely saying that there's some talent you've currently got that you should be making use of financially, and now is the time to put it into practice. I do believe that you know what it is, and I think you've had the idea for a while, and I think that's why it leads back towards the Wheel of Fortune as well, because it's all to do with the fates churning up and everything. So I definitely think this business opportunity now is the time. The iron's hot, and now is the time to strike. Okay, going into your future, this is the really really interesting one, Sam, because this is the card that I always think is what I call the mental trap, where you've basically, if you're not careful, you're going to lock yourself into a way of thinking that you can't get yourself out of. So this, I believe, is coming as a warning card in your immediate future. It's saying, don't be rigid in your thinking. Definitely show a bit of flexibility, because otherwise you are going to mentally lock yourself into some line of thinking that you're really going to struggle to get out of afterwards, and it's not going to be good for you. So this is definitely a warning. It's not a prediction. It's definitely not coming as a prediction card. It's coming as a warning. So there's a period of your life about to come up, Sam, where you've got to allow for a bit of flexibility in your thinking. Don't always go on past events or past situations to learn, to react in this way, because it's definite. I always call it the mental trap card, Sam, and it's always a self-imposed one as well. I always feel that when this card comes through for people, it's a self-imposed one. It's not something that somebody else is inflicting on you. It's one that you're trapping yourself basically by not being flexible in the thinking. So just be very very aware of it, because it is important. Again, leading up to the final outcome, you've got the Three of Pentacles. Again, another good financial card. And again, I think this is linking back to your Ace of Pentacles, because I think whatever this little business idea you've got is, you need to seek the help of somebody else. There's a partner who can help you now, and it's somebody. It's somebody Sam. There's definitely somebody in your circle of friends who can help you in this little business venture, whatever it is. And you really need to find out who it is, because they are the key to the success of whatever this little business plan is you've got going on at the moment. But it's definitely not going to be done on your own. It's going to be done with somebody else. It's definitely with a third party, because it's the Three of Pentacles, and I always consider the threes as somebody from the outside coming in. Twos, like they say, two's company, three's a crowd. That's why it always makes me think it's somebody from the outside coming in. So definitely keep your eyes open, Sam, for this person who can help you in this little venture, whatever it is. And I don't think it's going to make you masses of money, but it's going to make you some decent cash, as long as you keep your head on straight and don't trap yourself into a certain way of thinking. But it is vital. It is vital that you find out who this person is, because this person is the key to the success of it. It may not be their idea, but they may be able to help you in ways that you may not be able to do for yourself, or they may be able to speed the process up for you. But one way or another, this outside person, is definitely vital to this little venture, and it's definitely somebody you know now, Sam. I'm getting that off the card. It's definitely somebody you know now. So it's somebody within your circle of friends. So you need. What I'd suggest you do is, whatever your little idea is, or whatever this idea is that's about to pop into your head, start discussing it with individual friends and find out which one of your friends it seems to resonate with really well, and that's the one to go with. It's definitely them. But I hope that helps, Sam. Yeah, I need to push myself out. Definitely. But the key is another person, Sam. The key is Radcliffe. Is that her name? Andy.
Veronica. It's Veronica.
Veronica Radcliffe. I can't pronounce the surname, or have you just hit the
No.
keyboard funny?
No, that's definitely it.
Oh, right, okay. It was a good reading, Joanne. But there's definitely a partnership in there. The person that other person is definitely important to it. Most definitely. You're welcome, Sam. So Veronica's next. Oh my God. Okay. Veronica. First card you've got is the Eight of Cups. Cups are the emotional card. Now with the Eight, and if you look at the picture, it's somebody walking away. So I get the feeling you have recently walked away from an emotional situation. I even get the feeling it may even be romantically linked, but don't quote me on that. But you've definitely walked away from an emotional situation very recently, and one that's had a very important impact on your life. I don't know whether it's walking away from a partner or walking away from a friendship. I get the impression it could be partner, but I ain't 100% certain. I definitely feel what you've done is the right decision, because I think you've actually worried about it recently, about whether the decision was right or not, but you did decide to walk away. And it's definitely, it really is, it's Veronica in it, Andy.
Yeah.
It was definitely the right decision to walk away. You've cut ties with someone emotionally, and what the card is saying is, don't look back. Definitely don't look back, because what you've done is the right decision. Coming into your immediate future, you've got the Five of Cups, which again is emotional. Now this is the balancing one. Five is smack bang in the middle of the numbered cards, and this is a time that it's saying it's a time of healing yourself emotionally. It's a time to step back. Is that Andy or Becky? It's Andy on the Elemental Encounters. Becky's got her own. It's time to say, to sit back and contemplate emotionally for yourself. Seal yourself off from everybody, and I don't mean that in physically, but it's time to shut out everybody else's emotional broadcasting around you, and it's time to go within, look within emotionally, because now is the time to do it. Because that card also signifies slightly a bit of emotional remorse. But in this case, I don't think it is. I think there may be a little bit of sadness emotionally there, but the key to it is to go inwards, look inwards, go through everything that's recently, downstream and drive. Don't listen to other people's opinions at the moment, because your own emotional state is subject to you. The answer to how you want to be emotionally at this point in time is your own personal decision, and the only way you're going to do that is by sealing yourself. And I don't mean by being cold to everybody, but just filter out the emotional transmissions around you, and just think for yourself in terms of how you're feeling at the moment, because that is the key to moving on. And I do think you're going to move on because your future card is actually the Emperor. Now, the Emperor is a sign of conquest, success, also male. It's the male card, as in male strength. It also signifies father, husband, brother, uncle, something like that. Definitely has to listen to her own heart, Joanne. Most definitely. That is what the Five of Cups nearly always says to me. But it is saying that, where you're going, Veronica, is fine because you've got your own inner strength to cope with it, and it's going to put you in a better. It's putting you in a better situation. If you listen to other people, that may not necessarily be the case, but you're definitely going to be in a better position once you're through this actual transition period, and it is all emotional at the beginning of the reading. It's both your first two cards of cups, which are all to do with the emotions. It's nice that you've got the Emperor to finish them off at the end because it's inner strength, and it could also signify relying on male members of your family as well. Maybe that you'll get some advice from there after it's all over that will actually confirm to you that you've done the right thing. But there's definitely inner strength there, Veronica. That's telling me that you're going to pull through whatever it is, and it's going to be done off your own back. Don't listen to anybody else at the moment. Right, going on to the final card, which is your final outcome. You've got the Ten of Wands. Now, I like the Ten of Wands. I like the Ten of any suit because they're the penultimate before you go into the Royals, and it's saying it's gonna be a massive. Once you've got all this emotional baggage out of the way, you're gonna find physically you're gonna get a massive boost from it. You're gonna feel like there's a weight being took off your shoulders. You're totally in control of everything, physically, health wise and stuff like that. Because I feel that those two cards, your past and your immediate present, have probably taken a little bit of a toll on your health. But because through your own inner strength, it's going to drop to the point where once it's all sorted out, hi Kat, it's going to give a massive boost health wise. You're probably going to feel better than you have done in a long time. Definitely the time to start thinking about travelling and stuff like that, planning an holiday or planning a new hobby, getting into something new that is just going to give you that bit of a physical boost and stuff. But it's definitely you're definitely going to feel better in mind and spirit, Veronica, most definitely. But you're probably, because it's the 10, I would say you're probably going to feel better than you have done in possibly 12 months. You're going to feel a hell of a lot better. You're just going to feel revitalised because of making these decisions now. And the emotional does affect the physical. There's no doubt about it. And I just feel at the moment, you may be feeling a little bit wore down over it all. But through that inner strength, you are going to get to the other side of it, where you're going to have this really nice physical boost at the end of it to top it all off nicely. So I hope that helped. At least we're getting some different cards out tonight.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting to Christmas so far. Stephen, I hope to God we don't get Stephen's normal reading.
Me too.
Hi, Kat. I'm getting this a good shuffle, Andy. If bloody judgment comes up in this, I'm going to scream. I'm going to shuffle these here so you can see that I ain't picking bloody judgment out. Right. Oh. Okay. Thank God. Right, this is entirely different.
Oh.
Right. I think your first two cards are actually linked. The King of Pentacles and the Magician. Again, the Magician is sleight of hand, trickery, or the ability to juggle. Combined with the King of Pentacles, it's the ultimate material card. So what I think these two are saying is, at the moment, on a financial standing, Stephen, you're okay. And it may be something that you've just recently, I don't know whether it's you've just recently discovered it, or recently something's happened that's put you on a bit more of of a stronger financial footing. Um, it is interesting because the magician also signifies, the unknown, like the moon does. So it may have been something of a surprise, or if it's linked from the other side, which is the manipulation side of things, it's something that you've done with a little bit of nifty, uh, and I won't say underhanded, but a little bit of trickery. And I don't mean it negative trickery, just the ability to juggle the situation and mix the situation up has helped you financially. And it is going to put you on. Veronica is definitely getting better for you, honestly. It really is. Um, but there's definitely been some kind of manipulation here concerning money, Stephen. Um, and I think it's you. I don't think it's it could possibly be somebody else, but I think it's you because it's the magician. I think if it was somebody else, had it have been somebody else, it would have more likely have been the Hierophant or the High Priestess there. The magician is normally signifies the person themselves. So there's been some kind of financial juggling that's worked out quite well for you recently. Um, Leading into your future, this is quite interesting, Stephen, because there's a start of a new relationship coming up here. Um, you're famous now. There's definitely the start of, and because it's honestly, Stephen, this is a romantic thing because it's linked in with the lovers. Because the Ace of Cups signifies the start of a new emotional endeavour, and the lovers obviously when it's linked with the Ace is it's reinforcing it. So this is one of them readings where you've got two and two cards together, which more so than a past and present sort of thing. But there's definitely a new relationship coming up in the offing, uh, and I do believe it's on a romantic level. Um, if you're already in a relationship, it signifies a renewal of it. But normally, if it's the ace, it normally signifies a new one, which is quite interesting. But because it's combined with the lovers, it's going to be a long term. It's a long term relationship I'm talking about, and it's also of the romantic side as well. It's not like a new friendship. It's definitely a new romantic. Um, Chrissy's dead now, I'm sure. I don't know who you're on about. I ain't really watching the chat. This relationship coming up, Stephen, is definitely it's romantic. It's not friendship or platonic or anything like that. It's going to be a very exciting time for you, um, as all new relationships are. You know, when you're in the honeymoon period. But I do think it's going to be a it's a long term thing one as well. At least you didn't lose your two of pentacles. Um, it's a very interesting one, Stephen, because the money aspect is linking to this relationship. Now, I ain't saying you're going to get with the gold digger, but money is some way going to is going to play some part in meeting this person. Um, Perhaps you're going to get yourself a toy husband or something. I don't know, off the internet. But there's definitely it's definitely the start or the renewal of a relationship. But I get the impression it's the start. But I could be wrong on that. But it's definitely a renewal of love sort of thing. But linked with the lovers, you couldn't get them two to drop better, and especially where they are. But this person, I will say this: you're going to meet this person in some connection with money, but they are not after your money. Okay, the money is going to be some kind of um, it's going to be some kind of wave that allows you to meet this person. You'll meet this person regarding money, but they're not a gold digger and they're not after your money. If you know what I'm saying, and it'll be a very good relationship, Stephen. It's definitely going to be a long term thing. It's going to be really nice. Definitely a positive relationship and not a negative one. Um, there ain't really much I'm getting Who's 20 years younger? Well, it don't matter whether he's 20 years younger than you or not, Stephen. What does it matter? His body like a Roman god, lol. But yeah, it you know, age means nothing. Who's disrespecting my channel, Charles? Who's disrespecting my channel, Andy? If there's anybody playing up, just kick them off. But yeah, Stephen, and I think this is coming in the new year, early in the new year. I'd say within 3 months, but definitely the start of this new relationship. And honestly, I said Greek god. It's definitely going to be a good thing for you. It's most definitely a positive one. Most definitely a positive relationship. Nothing negative about it whatsoever. But you're definitely going to meet them in relation to money, without a doubt. And that's about the best I can tell you at the moment. Oh, Andy, I'm going to need a sip. Can you just chat for a second? Andy, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Can you just?
Yeah.
I'm just going to drink a little bit of liquid gold.
Yeah. No probs. That were a lot different, Stephen, this week. Finally.
Thank God.
Yeah. Brilliant.
I was dredging justice and judgment popping up again.
I know. I think we're all hoping for something different.
For those who don't know, Stephen's had the same cards come out roughly 4 or 5 weeks on the trot. It's been a nightmare.
4 or 5 weeks, that's right.
It's been an absolute nightmare. I'm finally glad it's changed. Yeah, it was a really nice reading for him, Joanne. I will have to think carefully of my next move.
Yeah, so next on the list we've got images.
Right.
And then Nikki, and then Jackie, then Charles, and Llama.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so images is number 6 next on the list.
Okay. You'll have to excuse me coughing, people, but I don't know if you can hear it on my chest, but it just will not go. Who's this Images?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of queens in this reading. My God. Sorry, I ain't saying that as bad. It's just a very funny combination of cards. Right. Your immediate past is the Queen of Cups. Now, again, and I know it's Christmas. There's something emotionally playing on your mind. You know, this is another one of them cards. And this has been in the recent past. You've been thinking about, and I know it's coming up to Christmas, but there's somebody you've been thinking about with maybe a little bit of regret or a little bit of worry. I ain't quite sure which one it is yet. I'll try and narrow it down a bit in a minute. But there's definitely been some kind of contemplation about somebody emotionally. I don't know whether you're male or female. If you're female, it's most definitely relating to you. If you're male, it could possibly be that somebody else, a female, has been worrying. Mind you, even if you're female, it could. But it could signify that somebody has been emotionally worried about you. But there's definitely been, and this is recent past. This ain't happening now. Brett needs to get to doctor. Oh, it's a nightmare alarm, and it'll go eventually. Joe, it's actually clearing up. It was a lot worse. I get the feeling that this Queen of Cups actually represents you, Images, more so than somebody else. But there's definitely somebody been playing on your mind recently. You've been thinking about somebody a lot, and it's somebody who's extremely important to you. Again, that is reinforced by moving into the next card, which is your present, which is the Queen of Swords. Now, again, the Queen of Swords is all about the intellectual, all about the mind, and all about, thinking and stuff like that. So, this person, and I get the feeling it's a woman. I get the feeling I could be wrong, but I get the feeling it's a woman that you're thinking about. And like I say, I don't know what sex you am, so I don't know on what relationship this woman is to you. But there's definitely some woman who's on your mind at the moment, and on your mind quite strongly. The past one, I get the impression more of there's a little tinge of regret there. The present one, I'm getting the impression that you've pretty much reconciled what the problem is, but you're still thinking about it. And when I say problem, I don't necessarily mean they've been a negative problem, but they've been a worry of some kind, and there's been a bit of regret there. But now it's saying that you've got to the point. Yeah, their feelings. Yeah, definitely. But it's got to. It's right. Okay, I've got the feeling it was a woman, but it's got to the point now where you're pretty much reconciling whatever it is that's being thought regarding this person. Right. Okay. Yeah. Um, like I say, I couldn't pick up whether it was anything romantic or nothing. I just knew it was a person you were thinking about, worried about, or they were worried. But the situation now has definitely come to the point where the regret's been dealt with, or the worry's been dealt with, and it's more of an intellectual, clinical study of it now. I'd say, your mind's at peace over the situation. What is good is it's leading into the world. So whatever the outcome, whatever the line of thinking has actually been, the outcome is going to be positive, because the world signifies completion, success, the end of a cycle. So all this thinking and worrying is coming to an end, and is coming to an end in a positive manner. She's Welsh. Nothing wrong with the Welsh. Half my family are Welsh. Um, this line of thinking is definitely right. Okay. Well, the line of thinking is definitely coming to an end. There's a completion to it. There's an end of a cycle. So what I would say is that one way or another, this whatever the line of thinking has been, it's about to end. It's about to end one way or the other. It's about to resolve itself. It literally is. It's literally has come full circle, and it's going to end. The only thing I will say is your end card again is the mental trap. So it's what this is always tells me when it's in the final outcome is don't end up a prisoner of your own thinking. She is. I make an exception for her and Catherine. Oh right. Um, you you really need. This is you now. The last card is definitely representing you, because you're going to trap you can end up trapping yourself into a particular line of thought that is not necessarily going to be the best thing for you. You've got to be very careful over this thing, because it has started off with a little bit of almost regret and sadness. The thinking has then turned into more of resignation and coming to terms with it. Your immediate future is saying that cycle is finally coming to an end, but you've got to be careful that you don't view whatever the outcome is in a negative manner. That is what that final card is saying, because you can end up trapping yourself into a way of thinking that may not necessarily be the right way of thinking about it. It's telling you to have a positive outcome when you think about this process. It's a really strange one, because the coming to the end and the others, Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was the woman, but that last one is definitely you. That last card is not her. That is definitely you. But you know, there's a danger here that you can end up thinking maybe the wrong way about her when you shouldn't do. It's telling you to remain out, remain open-minded about the situation, even after the cycle has come to an end, because it may not resolve in the way you actually want. I ain't saying it's not gonna, but one way or another, this cycle is about to end. The situation is going to end one way or the other, and it's telling you to keep an open mind about it, not to think negatively about it, because that's the wrong way of thinking about it. It's telling you to take it as a learning process more so than anything else, because otherwise you'll end up trapping yourself into constantly thinking about this person in a negative way when you shouldn't be. You'd come to resent them for reasons that you shouldn't. It's definitely saying this is a learning circle image, a learning exercise images, most definitely. But as to the outcome of it, I can't tell you whether the decision is going to be positive or negative. I would I would lean to the side of it will. I've no idea what it's regret about images. I just get the feeling that there's some kind of regret regarding that first card. And I ain't saying it's like depression or anything like that, but this person maybe is a little bit sorrowful for how something turned out. There is regret there, definitely regret there, but this regret that's already been resolved because it's in the past. But it's moved on to the point now where this person is thinking in a more clinical manner. They've come to terms with the situation. The regret's over and done with now. They've come to terms with whatever the situation is. I'd like to think it was positive because it's linked to the world. Had it have been something like the tower there, or the devil, or something like that, I would have said it was probably more so going to be a negative thing for you. But whatever the outcome of this decision is, as long as you keep a clear head on it, don't judge anybody too harshly, and it will definitely be a positive outcome for you, most definitely. So I hope that helps. Is that okay, Andy?
Yep, that's good. So a bit of advice there, like, somewhere.
Oh God, who's next?
Next up is Nikki.
Nikki New.
Nikki New.
excuse me while I die. There you go. You can all get your spirit boxes out later and talk to me. Yeah, Cat does a lot of potions. Newt's Eye, Frog's Bone, Dragon Tongue. They all go in there. Images. I get the impression that the decision is coming from her side. That was the impression I got, that the image was coming from her side, not yours. The decision is going to be hers to make. Thank you for subscribing, Marina. I'll give these a good shuffle. Who is it, Andy, next? Who's next, Andy?
Nikki.
Nikki. Nikki New. Oh dear, Nikki New. Oh, she's got that again. Right, Nikki. Right, past, and it's immediate past. It's definitely saying these are like the cards you got last week. There's definitely some kind of emotional interference going on here. It's like two's companies, three's a crowd. There's a lot of emotional turmoil, most definitely. Um, it's not this one I'm getting is not a positive interaction. It's been a negative interaction, and this is your recent past. So this is in the last few months. Um, there's been a lot of pressure put on you emotionally by a third party, is what it's saying. That is definitely what I'm getting off the card. There's some kind of emotional interference going on here. Um, it's not physical, it's not intellectual, it's emotional. Almost like emotional blackmail is what I'll say, Nikki. And like I say, this is recent past. It's already gone on. Don't worry, it ain't going on now. This is definitely just gone on. This is recent past, last couple of months, I'd say. Um, definitely, I'm definitely getting emotional blackmail, manipulation, that kind of thing. Um, it's definitely a negative. Most definitely a negative. It's not a positive. Definitely not a positive. Um, and I get the impression. I think there's more. When I say third party, I think I should extend it to third parties, Nikki. Um, I think there's been maybe two people. There's been two, maybe three. Two, maybe three involved of the main instigators. But this has definitely been. It's definitely been emotional manipulation. This card is not coming across positive at all. It's most definitely on the negative, most definitely. And because it's leading into the Knight of Wands, it's battle. It's saying battle, and this is your present. There's a battle going on round you now, um, Nikkei, and this is of the physical because it's Wands, Knight of Wands. So it's more of a physical battle, not a mental or an emotional one, um, which to me always signifies health. So basically, that the cups is leading into health and a battle with health. So basically, it's saying that what this situation that's going on is affecting your health, and you need to put a stop to it. You definitely need to put a stop to it because you've got a battle ranger at the moment, without a doubt. It's a battle you can win because it's the night, which is quite nice, but you have got to struggle now because otherwise you're gonna find that your health is gonna suffer. Um, it may possibly have you may be feeling the effects of it now, but if you let the past carry on the way it is, you're going to end up with this battle on your hand health wise, most definitely, because the wands represent the physical body or the physical, whereas the pentacles represent the material, which is slightly different. Um, so just be very very careful of what's going on at the moment. You need to take a step back from situations surrounding you, and you certainly need to stop looking back into the past because the past is where your problems are coming from. Let them be done. Let them be done, Nicky. Whatever's gone on in the past, draw a line under it, move on because it's going to make you ill, and you're going to have an uphill battle otherwise. Um, Leading on into your future, again, you got the Ace of Pentacles, which to me always signifies an improvement in finances. So in that respect, I think money wise, things ain't going to be a problem in the near future. So at least you've got that to look forward to because money's one less worry to have. Again, I ain't saying you're going to turn into Rothschilds, but you're gonna be okay financially wise, Nicky. You may also have a couple of little ideas for money making schemes because it does signify business. I've coughed over the mic and give it to Andy. I know. So money wise, you're not going to have a problem. Keep your ideas to yourself regarding money, Nicky, because you're gonna have some little ideas here that may benefit you financially. Nothing major, but you've got some good ideas. It may even relate to your to your channel wise. I ain't saying you're gonna monetize and stuff like that, but you may be able to use your channel to make yourself a little bit of cash. Okay? But definitely from a financial standpoint, you're okay. But I will keep going back to these first two cards because I am getting the negative sides off them, most definitely. And that's coming as a warning. The last one, Nikki, is the biggest warning of them all. It is the biggest warning of them all, because for me, and I'll tell you, I'm telling you now, this is a warning. This is a warning. This isn't what's going to happen, but this is a warning that if you let those two cards, if the first two cards, if you don't change track from them and get an handle on what's going on, that last card signifies. Oh, Trevor McDonald, you'll be at news at 10. Thank you, Trevor. That last card signals mental breakdown. So, but I think that's coming as a warning, Nikki. You will make yourself seriously ill if you're not careful on a mental level. You'll end up torturing yourself to the point where you can't cope. And that is definitely coming. It's coming as a warning. That's not saying what's going to happen. It's just warning you against them first two cards. You are mentally gonna wreck yourself if you're not careful. That's it, Selena. That's exactly what it is. Kick the past to the curb and move on. Because if you keep living in the past, you're going to end up damaging yourself mentally, Nikki, in a bad way. In a real bad way. And I don't like being negative like this, but this is exactly what's coming off these cards. This is definitely a warning reading that, you're on course for a mental breakdown if you don't put the past behind you. You've got things to look forward to, and that's what the Ace of Pentacles is saying. That card has come as a bit of a hope card, because the first two weren't great and the last one ain't great, but it's telling you you've got that little bit of hope in the middle. So, just what's in the past is in the past, Nikki. Cut it off, draw a line under it, and don't go back to it, because you're only going to cause trouble for yourself if you do, and you're going to end up causing yourself a lot of mental anguish which you really don't need and don't want. So just take that last card as a warning, rather than an actual. Yeah, it is good as got an heads up, because it's an advisory, Nikki. It is an advisory. It's not saying you are going to have a mental breakdown, but it's saying, draw a line under it, or that could be the consequences. It's a wake-up call, most definitely. So, I hope that helped you, Nikki. Oh, next one.
Next up is Jackie Matthews.
We can have the news at 10 read to us.
Yeah, we could. That'd be awesome.
Jackie Matthews. Yeah, it's definitely mind over matter, Selena. Most definitely mind over matter. He's saying put the past where it belongs, Nikki. Firmly in the past. Oh my god. Two Arcana card, Major Arcana card straight away. Always another one who's going to trap themselves. Who's this one for, Andy?
Jackie Matthews.
Right, Jackie. That's interesting. I don't know why, Jackie, but I'm getting mother figure off this card. I don't know whether it's relating to your mother, to you as a mother, or as somebody you see as a mother. I'm definitely getting the mother aspect of the Emperor, and this is your recent past. So something to do with mother has been really important recently. I don't know if your mum's still with us or not, but something concerning possibly your mother or you as a mother has been extremely significant to you recently. Extremely significant, and it's definitely the mother part of the card I'm getting. You know, because the Empress can also signify fertility and pregnancy and stuff like that. But I'm getting the mother aspect of the card. Something to do with mother has been very, very important recently to you or about you. So I don't know whether something that you've done as a mother has played the part, or something your mother has done for you, or someone you consider as a mother. Not here, what? Your mum's not here. Right, okay. I don't know whether it links to you, something you've been thinking about your mother, or whether you're a mother to somebody else. But it's mother figure coming off this card. Something to do with mother is extremely important, or was extremely important quite recently, because this is your recent past. Um, could even be somebody you view as a mother figure, or it could be somebody viewing you as mother. But this mother aspect has been really, really important. Really important, because that's all I'm getting off the card at the moment is mother, 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 mother. Just the mother aspect. And normally you get a few things off a card, but this I'm definitely, and I don't know why, because it's a past card, so whatever it is, has already occurred. But it's something connected with mother, or mothering, or being a mother, or your mother, or you being a mother. But that's all I can say on that past card, Jackie. I really cannot tell you anything else, because all I'm getting off it is mother. Um, what is interesting is moving into your present. You've got the Hangman, which again is another major arcana card. Um, and they always say when the major arcana come up in a reading, they're areas of significance. So this past card connected to mother, as is connected to your future, your present card, which again is a major arcana. So it's saying past and present are important aspects going on now. Yeah. Um, the Hangman, when it comes up, normally signifies suspension, or feeling like you're in a rut, or some form of dissatisfaction in your personal life. Um, you could possibly be feeling at the moment like life's passing you by, or that you're actually getting nowhere as such. There's something of significance that you feel you want to work towards, but you don't feel like you're making any progress. Everything is in suspension at the moment. Um, and this is important, Jackie, because it's come up in your present. So this suspension is going on now, and I would say it's definitely surrounding you, not anybody else. There's some feeling of not being able to move one way or the other. You feel stuck in a rut over something. It may not be your whole life, but there's something you're feeling at the moment that's making you feel like there's no progress with it. There's definitely suspension, and it's now. It's happening now. It's in the present. It is something you can get over. You may not feel at the moment like it is. You may feel like you're just stuck there with nowhere to go. But believe me, there is hope. It is definitely you, Jackie. It's not a situation. It's you. It's your feelings. It's not a situation that's in a rut. It's the way you're perceiving something. It's definitely personally related to you, not a situation. So definitely something coming through where you're feeling suspended. You know, not moving forwards, not moving backwards, left, right, anything. There's just total suspension there, and it's a bit frustrating for you at the moment. The good news is you've got the Knight of Cups, which to me signifies again emotional journey and movement. Because you've got a card with a horse in it, linking back to the Hanged Man, the horse is jumping off the card at me. Not only the knight, but the fact that um, it's the horse, which tells me that movement is about to come, Jackie. That feeling you've got at the moment where you feel like you're getting nowhere, there's movement about to come. The situation is definitely going to change, because the Knight of Cups is linking back to the Hangman. There's definitely movement there. So basically what it's saying is, just hang in there for now, because you're going to feel better on an emotional level pretty soon. I would say within the next 4 months, so I'd say between now and April time, and by the end of that period, you're definitely going to be feeling the movement. That sounds like you're going to have a crap, didn't it? Feeling the movement. But there's definitely going to be movement on the situation or on the way you're feeling, Jackie. There's definitely going to be that thing of movement, and it's going to be an emotional movement. You're going to feel better about yourself, and you're going to feel like you're finally pulling out of whatever it is you're currently in a rut over. You're definitely going to be feeling emotionally on a much more stable platform, and you're going to feel like you're making a lot of progress. I ain't saying it's going to come easy. You may find this that there's a little you have to push for it, but you'll definitely get it. Again, you've got the final outcome as the bloody Eight of Swords again, which when it drops there, I always say is a warning, and that is a warning not to slip back into old habits, Jackie. Because if you slip back into old habits, you'll be right back to the suspension stage of your life. So what it's saying is, once you've got this movement going, keep the momentum. Definitely keep the momentum going, because otherwise you'll end up slipping back and you'll be back into the suspension thing, and it will be of your own making. It will not be anything anybody else has done. It will all be of your own making if you're not careful. So again, that's just an advisory, it's not a prediction or saying how it's going to be. It's just coming as a warning, as once you finally pull yourself out this rut you're currently in, and I do believe this is going to happen within the next 4 months, possibly even 2 months. But you're going to start feeling the movement soon. You're going to start feeling like you're pulling yourself out of it, and you've got to keep that momentum going, because that way you're going to find yourself on a much more steadier platform in all aspects of your life, physical and mental. But the warning is there. Don't be lax over your thinking. Don't be lax over your actions, because there's always the chance to slip back if you allow it. But that's if you allow it, not anybody else. So just be very, very careful. Once you start to feel better, keep pushing. Don't sit there and think, oh, I'm okay now. I'm feeling. You've got to keep that momentum going, Jackie, and it'll work out fine for you. Like I say, that Eight of Swords is literally just a warning that you're going to end up in a vicious circle mentally if you get lax and let things slip. So I hope that helps. And the good thing is, nobody's going to die for Christmas.
I know, we're doing well so far.
Yeah, who's next?
Next up is Charles.
Charles, okay. That's interesting. Oh shit, I just nearly flicked the cigarette into me liquid gold. Right, Charles, this is quite an interesting reading, because I'm getting the impression that these first two cards are linked, and they're both swords, and they're on the intellectual level. The Two of Swords to me always signifies a decision that is taken blindly, and this is in your recent past. There's been some kind of decision recently made that you may not have thought through fully, or you didn't have the information to make the decision, even though you did. Because that's what the woman blindfolded represents. It's a decision. It's two ways of thinking on an intellectual level, but you're blind to the consequences of them, is what that card is saying. So I think recently there's been some kind of decision made that you may not have had the full facts about before you made it. The good thing is that whatever the decision was, because it links into the 5, it's turned out for the best. Now, I'm not saying what you know. This again is on the intellectual level. It's been a bit of a battle in your head that's gone on over whatever this decision was, or whatever this line of thinking was. There's been a bit of a battle over it, and even now you're still thinking, was it right? Was it wrong? Is the thinking right? But I'm saying with the five, it's saying that it's been an hard fought battle, but a battle won on the intellectual level. Um, there has been casualties over it, I will say that. Um, and I don't know in what respect. I don't know whether it's in friendships, relationships with people, or situations. But whatever this line of thinking has been, and whatever this struggle has been that's been going on an intellectual level, there has been a couple of casualties regarding it. Somebody or something has suffered as a result of it, even though it was the right thing for you to do. Most definitely. Um, I think there's a bit of maybe melancholy surrounding it. I don't know, but I'm just getting regret off the card again for some strange reason, which I don't normally get off this card. But I think maybe not regret, maybe self doubt would be a better thing to say. That you may be thinking, should I or shouldn't I have, um, should I or should I have not made this decision? But believe me, Charles, it was the right decision for you at the time. It really was the right decision, even though something or somebody else has suffered because of it. It was the right thing to do, most definitely. Leading into your present, you've got temperance, which is telling you now you've got to maintain this balance that you've fought for. Because if you look, she's actually the angel is actually pouring the waters from one cup to another without spilling any. And that is all to do with inner balance and inner control. So what that's saying is you've made the decision now, but you've got to maintain the balance of that thinking. The worst of it is over, but you've got to maintain the decision. You've got to live with the decision, and you've got to accept the fact that the decision you made was right. You've got to end this little bit of self-doubt or self-regret because, you know, you did the right thing, and you've got to find the balance in your life now, and that's just coming up. You're just going to come up into the period of your life where, you're going to feel more balanced over what's happened. Um, it is a funny situation because it's been a thing it's been totally on an intellectual level. This thing, there's been nothing physical or emotional about it. It's definitely all been physical, and it's saying that you're going to come into the period now where you've got to maintain the balance that you've struggled for. And it's been a well fought battle, if that means anything to you. But the balance is yours now to maintain. You've done the right decision, and temperance also shows that you've made the right decision, because temperance is a very positive card, also one of the major arcana, which shows that the period of your life which is coming up now in the new year is going to be very important. Is going to be a very important phase in your life, and it's all to do with you personally balancing. Ground yourself, and no regrets, no looking back. You know, just keep the balance and self control going, because what you've done is right. The final outcome is the King of Wands, which is always a nice one because again, it signifies perfect health, and balance within the physical as well. So the mental, like I said to Nikki earlier on, the mental can always often have an effect on the physical. And what it is saying to me here is that now this intellectual thing is sorted out, it's going to end up with you feeling better about yourself on a physical level. Most definitely on a physical level. You're definitely you're gonna have your health boost. It's took the weight off your mind, and things are going to balance out. It's always nice to have a king of any suit in your final outcome, because they are the penultimate of each suit, and that is the ones, the clubs or the staves, however you want to call them, always represent the physical, the body, and stuff like that. So it's saying that this intellectual decision is actually going to make a physical improvement to you as well, and that the future is looking good at the moment, Charles. It's not bad at all. but you're gonna feel a lot better come the end of it. And that I would say would be by the end of March. I think it's a 3 month thing, most definitely. It's all coming to a close now. Is basically what this reading is saying. The battle's over. It's time to balance yourself, and you'll benefit on a physical level for it as well as a mental level, most definitely. So I hope that helps. Who's next, Andy?
The last and final at night is Karma Llama.
Right. Right, so we're going to do this slightly different. This one's going to be fun. You're welcome, Charles. You're definitely welcome. Okay, Andy, off you go. Andy?
What?
Read them.
Why?
Because I'm going to let you read them and then I'm going to read them.
Well, I was just going to nip for some air because I've gone right hot.
Right, I'll read them then.
Yeah, so I'll be back in a bit.
Alright, no worries. Right. Karma Llama. Recent past, you've got the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups signifies the start of something emotional. It's the beginning of a new emotional journey. This is in your recent... You're welcome, Charles. No problem at all. This recent past matter, Llama, is definitely of an emotional nature, and it's the start of a new emotional journey that you're on. Linking into the Nine of Staves, or the Nine of Wands, or the Nine of Clubs. Yeah, I'll check with him in a minute, Joanne, don't worry. He's telling me, Llama, that this is I'm getting emotional conflict here, Llama. Most definitely getting emotional conflict here, and this is leading into the present, because the guy, the staves or the clubs or the wands, Brett's great at giving people sometimes notice, never on the spot, lol, yeah. This emotional journey is causing conflict on a physical level, Llama. And this is going to sound odd, but I don't think it's causing conflict on a physical level for you. Oh, this is a really delicate situation. There's been some kind of playing around here emotionally that is causing physical conflict with somebody else or other people. And quite frankly, leading into the future, it's not going to be good for you if you carry it on, is what it's saying. Because it's going to lead to suspension and stagnation if you're not careful. So what it's saying is whatever this conflict that is going on around you now, Llama, you've still got time to change it. Because if you don't, it's going to lead on to the next few months where you're going to be left hanging with nowhere to go, sort of thing. It's definitely leading up to stagnation. The ice staves always indicate conflict to me, and that's the 9. Had it have been the 10, it would have been even worse. So luckily it's the 9. So basically what it's saying is you may be thinking you're winning, but in the long run you're going to end up stagnant. So be very, very careful what it is you're doing. And it is the emotional is definitely you. The Ace of Cups is definitely you, setting out on an emotional journey, on a new emotional trip. The second card is the results of that emotional trip, which are right now, and it's basically conflict on the physical level. It's to do with health and stuff like that, but health in a negative manner. So be very, very careful, because it's going to end up with you pretty much in the same situation as this person if you're not careful. Because the Hangman is always a warning card, or a descriptive card. And it's definitely saying that, you know, the path you're on at the moment is going to lead to stagnation if you're not careful. Definitely if you're not careful. So you need to take stock of things that are going on, and and just be very, very careful what you're saying and doing around people, because eventually it's going to be like the pagan belief of the threefold consequence, where things are going to rebound on you, and they'll rebound on you 3 times as bad as what you've dished them out, sort of thing. So this is definitely coming as a warning. The third card, your Hangman. It's telling you what this can lead to if you don't change what's going on at the moment. The saving grace is that you've got the 6 of Cups at the end, which again is an emotional card. So your reading is starting and finishing on the emotional. Now, to me, that card is signifying settlement on an emotional level. If you look, the woman is actually giving the cup to the little child, to the little girl. And to me, that is saying, that is like handing out the olive branch on an emotional level. You've got to meet these people on an emotional level, Lama, and the olive branch has got to come from you, because the woman represents you, and the child represents whoever it is that is being affected by what you're doing. And I don't know whether it's one person or multiple people, but you have got to offer the emotional olive branch, is what it's saying. Because it can be a positive outcome here, but that third card, which is the future, which is like the next, up to the next 6 months, could be very destructive for you if you ain't careful, and it will lead to you being the one who's hanging upside down, literally suspended, nowhere to go, in a rut. Literally, it is stagnation incarnate, the Hangman, if you let it continue. But because it's linked to the 6 of Cups, there is a saving grace to it, saying that there is a way out of it, there is a way to prevent it, but it's to do with you offering olive branch on an emotional level, not on a physical level or an intellectual level. It's got to be offered on an emotional level. So whatever this treaty, peace, talks, whatever you'd like to call it, you've got to make peace with people on an emotional level, and that is the only way to prevent that stagnation, Lama. So I hope that helps you, but that's basically the best I can do with it. It is an interesting reading, and it does start and finish on the emotional. It does get a bit negative in the middle, but it is surrounded by 2 positive cards. So that's saying, there's the positive can come out of the negatives, but only you can do it, because you will cause your own stagnation if you're not careful. But you can get out of it. Are you back, Andy?
I'm back.
Are you all right?
Yeah, just really bloody warm. I don't know what's going on.
I'm the opposite. I'm freezing to death. But
Really?
there you go. But that's the best I can do with that one, everybody. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop the card reading for tonight, because my throat. Yes, Joanne. Karma needs it's the action has got to come from him, and it's got to be on an emotional level. It's no good doing it on a physical or material level. It's got to be done on the emotional level, most definitely, because it's the Six of Cups. So to me, it's always like offering an emotional olive branch, is what it's saying, and it's got to be heartfelt. It's no good going through the motions of saying sorry. It's got to be, you're welcome, Llama. You're most welcome. But there's hope for you yet, so don't worry about that. Right, I'll finish the card readings. We'll just have a general discussion now, if you want. I'll start off by telling you what I was doing yesterday, or what I wasn't doing yesterday. Basically, I went to Andy's yesterday, and Andy and Becky
Yeah.
built my spirit box for me. Absolutely fantastic it is. I will put it on the channel when it's finished. Obviously, I ain't going to show you what's inside it because it's Andy's design, so I ain't having anybody nicking it. But needless to say, they put 5 hours of work into this radio. Yes, am I alright to show them the back of it, Andy?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
I'll give you a quick flash of what it looks like from the back, and there's still a few little bits to go on it.
I mean, you're doing all decoration to
Yeah.
it, aren't you? So.
That is the basic box. I don't know if you can see it clearly, but that's all the controls on my new spirit box. It's got reverb and noise gates and stuff on it, but fantastic box. It runs on a PSB 7, but I'm going to add another little bit into it so I can plug external spirit boxes into it as well. Absolutely amazing work these two people did on this box, and I cannot thank them enough, because as you all know, Andy ain't in the greatest of health at the moment, and he spent 5 hours sitting on the floor doing this box yesterday with Becky. Becky has got the most amazing fingernails I have ever seen in my life. She was basically stripping melting wire with her fingernails and not wincing or anything. And Andy was doing it with his fingers. If anybody wants a spirit box like that, you're going to have to talk nice to Andy and sort out a price with him. What I've seen of the work that goes into them, they are well worth the money. It's not just the fact of slapping things into a box. There's a lot of alteration has to go into them before they can be sorted out. But honestly, it's an absolutely fantastic box. Can't try it out yet because for some reason here at this house, the house is an entire radio dead zone. So hopefully I'm going to take it out tomorrow into the churchyard or something nearby where the signal's better, and I'll see where I get on it. We got some things through on Andy's last night when we were testing it. The other good news is Becky topped me up with the liquid gold, so I came home with 2 bottles of liquid gold. So it was an extremely brilliant day, and I honestly cannot thank the pair of them enough. So I've got to think of something nice now to do in return. So I'm gonna have to think about it. But really appreciate the work, and it wasn't just Andy; it was Becky as well. The pair of them sat on the floor for 5 hours building that box. It was absolutely amazing. I cut 2 holes out, and that was my contribution was cutting 2 holes in the box.
I had to get you to do something.
Yes. Anything you want to say on that, Andy?
Me and Becky always work well together when we like fabricating and stuff. Cause,
Yeah.
We've done it for years because we used to build costumes and stuff. And,
Yeah.
When you've got me and her building away, it goes a bit quicker,
Yeah.
But no, it was good. I enjoyed it. Because I ain't done much over the past couple of weeks, with what's been going on, and it was nice to sit and actually make something for a change.
It was absolutely. I can't tell you how amazing it was to watch them both working, because they were just so in sync with everything they were doing. It was unbelievable. There was no messing around or nothing. And Becky was as on the ball as Andy was. There was no doubt about it. Neither me nor Andy can get the batteries in the boxes, and Becky was just showing us up by sliding them in and clipping them in and everything. But honestly, she has got the most amazing fingernails in the world. Really has. Yeah, I could give him a month's supply of Bisto. Would be interesting. But honestly, the box is amazing, and everything is encased within the box. There's no ugly pedals or anything on the outside. Even the PSB7 is housed inside. It's absolutely amazing design that Andy and Becky have come up with. Brilliant it is. Stop singing at me, Kaya. You can't have it. The other thing that Andy made for me, obviously, was the Rem Bear, which I do have to keep away from Kaya, because Kaya's got this really bad fascination with Fuzzy for some reason. So I can't leave Fuzzy in a room alone with Kaya, because I'd come back and Fuzzy would have no eyeballs left.
Can you imagine?
So do you want to tell them how you thought the idea for the box up, Andy?
I can't. I ain't got much to say about that at all, because basically it was just a really quick look how it flows together, and it was just winged and chucked together, and it worked. It was like the old shelf compartment to our SB7. You loved it, didn't you?
Yep.
And it was like literally it was just a quick, whatever worked logically off that. That's how we did it.
Because I actually said to Andy when he was doing the shelf for the PSB7, how many design attempts did it actually take to make that work? And he said 1. And honestly, you wouldn't believe it. That PSB7 does not budge in that box. Yet I can slide it out as easy as anything to change the batteries on it. But when you're actually operating, that PSB7 doesn't move a millimetre. Absolutely. Will you stop singing? Absolutely amazing how he set it up. But Andy does make Rem Bears as well, for anybody who's interested in Rem Bears. I'm drumming up trade for Andy, by the way. He does come up with some amazing stuff, and they're not overly expensive. And the bears themselves, they are, compared to the ones you can buy from the shops, from the ghost shops, the sensitivity and range on them is brilliant. Plus, they're musical. If you want them to be, you can either set them to beep and musical, but they also have a proper aerial on them, so the proximity detecting's a hell of a lot better. Fuzzy Wuzzy.
They've got to have an aerial.
Yeah, Fuzzy Wuzzy. I absolutely love Fuzzy Wuzzy. Fuzzy Wuzzy lives in my bedroom. Shall we mention recent paranormal events regarding? Stop it! Shut up. I don't know how many of you know, but a certain paranormal channel has recently been in court for streaming while driving. So I will advise anybody who's got their own channel, do not do it, because the police are out there and watching, and they will catch you for it, and it's a very nasty fine and a lot of points. What was your opinion on that, Andy?
Well, right. So do we know what was the car actually in motion while the stream was?
Apparently so.
Live?
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, well,
he was apparently driving.
Yeah, nobody should be doing it. Let's face it.
Mm-hmm.
You see, what we've done before, like obviously, because we've always been in teams. Sometimes if I were, cause I never drove, I'd go live and talk to people in passenger seat.
Yeah.
And driver would sometimes just say, "Hey up everybody," while they were driving.
Yeah, hang on, let me move these cards so that I can see the wand. That is the wand. This is something else Andy got me into, by the way. That's my wand. If you look on the end of it, there's actually quartz crystal, and I did that all by carving. He's driving and hunting, so Ghost can't keep up with Carl. I'll no following. Well, there is that, Chris, but what you've got. There is the serious side to consider as well. Christmas is coming up. If he'd have lost control of that car and hit somebody and killed them, it was going to ruin a hell of a lot of people's Christmases. So I always say to people, don't drink and drive, and now I'm going to say don't stream and drive, because it's not the best thing to do. Carry on, Andy.
Yeah, so as I was saying, all good and well if your passengers are wanting to do a little live,
Mm-hmm.
And driver can just say hello, a quick hello, but keep their eyes on road. But when you're actually, it's like being on phone, isn't it? You're not meant to do it anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I agree. You got what you deserve.
And that's right, Joanne. You can actually get into trouble from the police for just sitting with your engine running.
You can, yeah.
It took me about a week to do it all together. Andy and Becky, along with another lady who works with Elemental Encounters called Ellen, do pretty much monthly workshops up here in the northeast. They're based in Barnsley. Obviously, I'm in Rotherham, so it's close. We've done rune making, ain't we, Andy?
Yes.
We've done the one making. What else have we done?
That's it so far for workshops. We've got an upcoming one for reefs and baubles
Yep,
for Yule.
on the 21st of December, which is the winter solstice, we're having a bauble workshop and wreath workshop, and also a bit of a solstice celebration party for Yule.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting. We'll be making little glass baubles for the Christmas trees, or whatever you want to call your tree. Personally, I'll just refer to it as the tree rather than the Christmas tree. But looking forward to that and the celebration. If anybody wants to keep up to date with what we're doing in that respect, Andy and Ellen and Becky run a channel called. Is it Bon? Is it you three who run it, or is it Ellen?
It's mainly Ella. Well, we're admins as well. She kind of knew we were going to help out with it, so she shared ownership.
But
Unprompted.
if you Google Barnsley Moot, and that's spelled MOOT on Facebook, you'll find the group on there. Do you want to put a link in the thing, Andy? Uh,
I can do.
Anybody's welcome to go on there because it's all sorts of things discussed, not just the paranormal in terms of spirit hunting and the elementals and all stuff. We do all sorts of discussions on there. Um,
Yeah,
I'm currently in Kimberworth, Jackie, but I'm moving soon more to the town centre, nearer the town centre. But I'm currently in Kimberworth. SJ, we've actually finished the readings for the night. I do them every Sunday, but they're 9 till 11 UK time normally. But because I've got a bit of a cold issue at the moment, I've finished them half hour early tonight because me throat's getting to the point where it can't carry on much longer. It was going to kill me. What do you expect to do with your one? Well, as most of you probably know, I am actually a pagan. So it's used in various rituals and stuff that I do. You use it for all sorts of things in paganism, from spell casting, protection spells, all sorts of different things. Consecrating the circle, you can use a wand in a multitude of things. It's very similar to
you can
anatomy.
you can even use them in paranormal investigations to point certain objects at and
You
stuff for
can.
energies to identify easier. That's what I tend to use mine for mainly.
I was taught the Green Cross code when young. People don't seem to cross the road safely these days. It's mad. Don't look, I nearly hit a few recently. Pedestrians need education. They do, Selena. They do. But the thing is, if it had mounted the curb and killed somebody, it would have been a lot more serious than what um, it was. Maureen, how have you only got 797 paranormal points? How's she worked that one out, Andy? She's a bigger gambler than Becky on here.
Yeah, I know.
Cannot believe you only got 797 points, Maureen. But yeah, that was one of the main things that have happened this week. There's been a few more poltergeist videos gone up. I've noticed. One claiming to be a demon poltergeist, which I found quite amusing. Because
Well,
anybody who's ever had
yeah.
experience of poltergeist would know that demons and poltergeists are two entirely different things. Go on, Andy. What were you going to say?
Um, while you were doing some of your readings, I've been speaking to Rose because she's a bit upset again,
Mm-hmm.
and she's actually interested if you're up for it, doing a sort of a guest chat with her on Friday.
Yeah, no problem.
But what I said I'd try and do is tie our video in Friday just before 9 o'clock,
Right.
obviously,
Yeah.
and then drum everybody over and do a live chat about it all and
Yeah.
lay some rumours to rest
Yep.
that Rose is a faker.
Mhm.
Because she really isn't. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be a good perspective. There's you that's not been there.
Yeah.
There's me that's like kind of investigated it, and then there's
Mhm.
Rose that has to live with it. So it'll be
Yeah.
three good perspectives of what's happening.
I don't know. I don't know whether it's a demon or a demon at all, Joanne. To be honest with you, it could even be a Desmond.
I call
But
them Desmonds.
but for anybody who knows anything about poltergeists or have had any experience with poltergeists, they are not demon related in any way, shape, or form. The two things are an entirely different paranormal entity. If you even believe in demons, which personally I don't. I do believe in poltergeists because I experienced one when I was younger. But as to what it exactly, I know for a fact it wasn't a demon. I know that for a fact. But as to the exact nature of them, I have been questioning it lately. Exactly what it was. Was it spirit or was it something else? But who knows? But it did actually appear to me at the end, so I know what it looked like. But take it from me, demons and poltergeists are two entirely different entities. They are not the same thing. What's your opinion on that, Andy?
Oh, completely different. Completely different.
Hell's House is the real deal, absolutely. Well, Andy's putting. Are you still putting that video together?
Oh, it's finished. I'm just trying to save it.
Right.
I'm gonna
Andy has actually got a video that he's trying to bring out regarding their recent visit to Rosie's house. Problem he's got at the moment is the computer keeps shutting down every time he tries to process it. So as soon as he can get it done, it will be out, and you'll see for yourselves that um, you may be interested to find out what was actually lurking around in that house that night. That is all I'm going to say.
Yeah, very interesting.
That is all I'm going to say on the matter, but it's not necessarily what you think it is. Has anybody in chat got anything interesting? No, Llama, the poltergeist did not move my wand, thank you.
I think Chris asked what were an all good rounder for wood for a wand, and I'd suggest either birch or oak.
Hmm.
Or hazel. Hazel's a good all rounder as well.
Tr-
Very common in witchcraft.
Traditionally, a lot of people like Rowan, but trying to get hold of Rowan is a nightmare.
I've got some.
See, ones are a funny thing because for me they've got a bit, they're a personal thing. There are those
Yeah.
who say, oh, they can only be made out of Rowan, which for me I think is totally
Yeah.
ridiculous. There are people who say, oh, it's got to be exactly 24 inches long, which again I think is
Yeah.
totally ridiculous. I think
Yeah.
computer shut down could be an overheating problem. This is what we think may be the problem with Andy's computer as well.
Yeah.
Overheated and shutting down, Sam. But your wand is a personal thing. Andy's recently made one with a bird skull on that looks absolutely awesome. He calls it his Voldemort wand, but it looks absolutely brilliant. Mouse maybe chewed the wire. Really pleasing my motor operated spirit box. Have you finished it now, Sam?
Looking good. What I've seen so far.
No problem,
Really nice.
Jackie. Thanks for coming in. You have a good night. Hang on, let me just say bye to Jackie. I can't even spell bye properly. See, the problem is when you say bye to them, it don't come through for about 15-20 seconds. So they think you're
Very true.
ignoring them. So I like to type bye to them. Sam, over out your computer case. I was telling Andy I actually had a problem with my old computer last year, a couple of years ago. I bought a new graphics card for it, plugged it in, and on certain games the computer would just shut off, and it was due to the fact that the card was pulling more power than the PSU could deal with, overheating the PSU, and it was cutting out. So I had to buy a new PSU in the end, but it solved the problem anyway. You have a song coming out about what topics? What topic, Llama? You're still messing with it. So what you got planned for it now, Sam? Catsper, I still need a piece of oak candy for my third wand and need to look up what I need for my athame. Finally got a blade shape piece. What do you mean what you need for your athame? You just need whatever material you want to make the handle out of? Cat? I like the swaying needles, Sam, relaxing to watch while listening for stuff. Yeah, the box, Sam's box will hypnotise you while you're listening. They're all gambling again. They're all compulsive
They
gamblers
are.
on here, Andy. Terrible gamblers. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Yule celebration next week. It's a pain in the
I'm,
arse getting over to Barnsley because it's like a 2.5 hour trip normally, but it's worth it in the end, and I love the farm.
yeah. I think I'm just going to take it easy that day.
Yeah,
I'm glad I ain't got like a shed load of wood to take round.
exactly. What you just gonna do? You're just gonna sit there and weave yourself a reef, nice and relaxing.
Well, I think Becky's pre-making all reefs and then just like provide string and stuff for people to put patterns on and what have you.
All right, Llama. Okay. Um, Brett, I don't know what I am doing, lol. Why? What are you doing, Sabrina? Your athame can be whatever you feel comfortable with, Cat. There's no right or wrong wood. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. It don't even have to be wood. You can use bone or whatever you want. I have no idea what Selena's said. Brett, I don't know what I am doing, lol. Oh, with the games. I'm trying to cut down the static interference by insulating the radio antenna wire. I tried planning a gear system to get a wider sweep. Oh God, that sounds a bit complicated, doesn't it, Andy?
It does, doesn't it?
She wants to do an internal gear system to make it go further.
Wow.
Just what all you need to do is put the ice and whatever points you want to spend, Selena, and then it decides whether you get eaten in the haunted house or not. Um, a lot of people like white coloured items for the handles on the Athames because a lot of people traditionally think you should have a white handled knife, but it ain't somewhere I've ever subscribed to. Have you ever made one, Andy?
I didn't know.
See, I was googling around for one last month. I wanted a blade blank to make one, and
Yeah.
for some reason they're murdered to get over here because
Right.
I want a what they class as like an hunting knife or a double edged blank. And the only one I
Right.
saw, I'd have to import from America, and it was about 90 quid.
You
And
know,
I thought, nice as it is, I ain't paying that much for one.
you need to go and have a look at Antique Centre.
Yeah, because
Because they have
if
got
I can find something like
thousands of knives.
if I can find a stiletto or something in an antique shop, I can strip the handle off it and repurpose it.
Yeah, they've got thousands of knives in there, trust me.
I'll
Old,
have to
some
have a
old
look.
stuff as well. They've even got like antler handled stuff and,
Yeah.
right full stuff.
Well, years ago, my uncle actually brought me one as a present from an holiday, and it was the handle was actually a deer's foot with the
Alright, cool.
with the hoof still with the cloven toe thing still on it. It was quite a nice knife actually.
Right.
Is there any decent paranormal apps worth buying? Personally, I don't like apps. I think they're just a little bit too open to be, limited in the sound banks and stuff. But if you like them, it's just a case of looking around. Andy?
Same, yeah. Never used them. Never would. I don't think it's because it's locked to banks usually. I don't trust it. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
I like a good thing is with radio, you never know what's going to come over it, do you? You know.
No, no. And the thing is, a lot of these apps that claim they use live radio actually use paranormal podcasts and stuff. So you're just going to be
Right.
getting you're going to be getting all the keywords anyway. You're going to be hearing the word ghost a lot, and you're going to be hearing poltergeist and spirits and whatever. You're going to hear it all on a paranormal podcast.
I bet you won't hear much of our stuff on there though.
Hi, Alison. No, you wouldn't. You may hear some, but not often.
Yeah.
I have noticed though, Andy, it's starting to become a bit more popular on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah,
There's
definitely.
a lot more recent videos coming on, and I thought, oh, that one's quite recent. But a lot of them seem to think, they go down the lines of fairy tale fairies with the butterfly wings and all that kind of stuff. And it's like,
Yeah, I know.
would you be in for a shock if you actually saw a real one? You'd probably think you'd got some rat or something in the house. Sam says she's not a fan of apps, also. I just use radios. I did try the Paratech app on one of our investigations at Needle's Eye. Didn't use it for long. The only interesting thing it did was it came out with my middle name, which ain't a common one. But I did speak to Happy Droid who created it, and he said there's about 30,000 words in the bank. But that's it. They're limited to those words, so they could come out at any time. Brett, I made a video today about one of impersonators. I don't know what you mean, Llama. Impersonators. Digital radio, can you do them? Have you heard of anybody actually converting a digital radio into a spirit box, Andy?
Digital radio?
A DAB?
No, I don't know.
I've got to be honest, Selena. I ain't actually heard of anybody doing one. Sam will tell you about apps. Ask Sam what she did with the Ghost Radar app when she first got into the paranormal. I think I spent half a night wandering around Derry, convinced I was seeing ghosts everywhere.
Brilliant.
The thing is, though, Andy, it's frightening how many people still actually think that app is genuine.
Really?
Yeah. Stephen says I downloaded a spirit app on my phone. Got a very interesting response. What did it say, Stephen? See, it's the sound banks that does me with them, Andy, because you're working with a limited vocabulary from the off.
I know. It's just not for me at all. I mean, if anybody uses them and they get good
Yeah,
results, then
yeah,
fair enough.
yeah.
But
I've always said, the right way in the paranormal is the way that works for you, and if you're getting good results off an app, then use it. It's just personally,
yeah.
I've never really got anything decent off an app, so I just don't use them. I think Selena's just won some points. I'm just waiting to see what Stephen says he got on his what's-he. Mark Cultus builds his own apps. Here Sam says I was walking around the city thinking there was ghosts everywhere, but it was years ago, lol. We've all been there, Sam. We've all tried it out of curiosity. Do you know, Charles, I never actually thought about checking the Army and Navy stores. I don't know if we've got one round here, though. Oh, right. Okay, Llama. No worries. I never thought of trying the Army surplus stores, because they're probably going to be the best place for a stiletto. Because
Yeah.
the best type of blade for anatomy is a double-edged blade. Because of the
Yeah.
way that because you use them in multiple directions when casting a circle, they've got to be able to cut both directions, sort of thing. So that's why people prefer a double edge. You don't have to, but most people prefer a double edged blade for anatomy. Apparently, your grandfather is present. Present where, Stephen? At your house? Oh, I got a couple of impersonators. Cat. Selena, you have more than me, lol. You ain't gambling right, Maureen, that's why. That's what your problem is. You gotta learn to gamble better. I don't even gamble on here now because the bloody Cloudbot hates me. It only seems to like Becky. That notice has just come up. If anybody ain't subscribed to Andy's channel, that's the link to Andy's channel there. If you'd like to subscribe to his channel.
I wouldn't, it's rubbish.
Andy covers all things Fae related. Andy doesn't actually believe in intelligent hauntings. He does believe in residual hauntings, but not intelligent hauntings. He believes that everything that occurs has actually got a Fae solution.
Mm-hmm.
Have a look in good spot. Yeah, we're a bit limited up here for things like Army and Navy and sporting stores, ain't we?
There's an old tin hut in Shafton near Barnsley.
Is there?
And it's like, yeah, it's like on somebody's land, and they've got a massive tin hut, and that's all surplus gear.
All right.
You just go up to it, if you've got a car and pull in, and they come out of the house and let you in.
Cool. Might be worth a visit at some point then.
Yeah, cool.
Yes, Maureen, Becky's very lucky with the gambling. Those ghost camera apps are really scary, lol. When the app thinks there's a ghost, the girl appears with dark hair over her face. Is it her at the ring? Yeah, Stephen, Andy, and Maureen, Andy, and Becky are brilliant. Andy and Becky have done an awful lot in recent years to, bring up the recognition of the Fae. Oh, God.
We didn't have no bloody choice.
Here we go, Andy. Joanne's got a question for you. Fire
Go
away,
on,
Joanne. If the world was about to end...
I can't wait.
Now, Alison, that link is a link to Andy's channel. It's just Streamlabs is the bot that actually puts messages out for me. If you click that link, it'll take you to Andy's channel, Elemental Encounters. There's a few of them now, Stephen, that use words that, a lot of them base themselves on the Ovilus. And that's another piece of equipment I've never really used or felt the urge to. If you had a REM bear and added whisper bites to it, would the Fae feel you were tricking them? Thanks, Joanne. Oh, God. Andy often lures them in with chocolate.
Oh, aye. My REM bear is often covered with little whisper bites.
But yeah, Andy'll often put... I have Brett, I like it. What, you like what cat? What does cat like, Andy? Have I missed a comment off cat?
I didn't see how specific.
I was sceptic too using it. What's your opinion on the Ovilus, Andy? Have you ever used one?
No, I hadn't. We were gonna have one in Soul Reaper. That's what one piece of equipment we were gonna get just to try it. But for expense of them back then, I don't know if they've come down in price or whatever. Because there are a few variants now.
Yeah.
Like Ovilus 2 and whatever.
And it's like they seem to be combining things like the Melmeter and the Ovilus and all sorts of weird and wonderful. Yeah, all sorts of weird and wonderful things coming out.
Yeah. We never got round to getting one and using it, so I never bothered. I felt like I didn't need one.
Llama says, are there any place names near Doncaster with the hill in them? Not that I can think of offhand. Can you think of any places near Doncaster with? You'll have to just look it up on Google Maps. Llama. I don't really know Darlington, Doncaster that well, to be honest with you. No, Joanne Andy often uses chocolate by his Rem bears and his Rem pods
Oh
to,
yeah.
you know, he ain't.
I always
It ain't like he's luring them in to shoot them.
no. No, I do. I've lured them in with all sorts before. I once did a little experiment in antique centre where I put a massive trail of white stones going up to Rembear with a piece of pizza in a box in front of it. And I told them to follow up white stones and they come to a little surprise. And it took about 10 minutes and then Rembear started alarming. So, they listened to it.
Oh, Kat was on about the Ovilus. Kat says she's got one.
Ah, right.
I got to be honest, them one piece of equipment that's never appealed to me, because I just think them spouting random stuff all the while. And I know you can say that about a spirit box, but, Ovuluses just seem to come out even more random than a spirit box does. At least you tend to have intelligent conversations with a spirit box more than you do with an Ovilus from what I've seen of them. And I ain't knocking them. If they work for people, they work. Stop saying,
Well,
I'll let
yeah.
you out. Hang on, I'll let you out in a minute. But for me, personally, I casted the attraction of them. But it's like I say, you should never turn your back on any piece of equipment. If you feel it's something that's going to work for you, then go for it. Because, you don't want to throw the baby. Hang on! Can you hear her?
I can.
Hey, let me just let her out, Andy. Can you just carry on chatting a sec?
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. Oh dear. Llamas accept chocolate too. I'm surprised we didn't use it at East Drive when we went car. I didn't know that they had. After they got.
It's such a
After they
demanding
got
little
it.
bugger. What were you talking about, Andy?
No, I'm just saying because she said that really haunted event had obvious, but I said I'm surprised we didn't use it at East Drive, unless they got it after we went.
I think the voice it uses is quite creepy. You'd have thought they'd have found a better sounding voice for it. Because it's like Robbie the Robot when he's shouting at
It
you.
is very mechanical in it,
Yeah.
yeah.
How au fait is Andy with the Fae? Andy's very au fait with the Fae, believe me. Yes, that was Kaya singing to me, Alison. I wanted to go outside. I'll only be out there 2 minutes and he'll be coming in and singing at me to shut the door because it's cold. Little bugger. Coco's just lying on the sofa looking at her like as an idiot. I did use it regularly through with guests. Now they had it then.
Right.
But if you feel comfortable with a piece of equipment, then go for it. If you think you're getting results, go for it. There's a lot of things I'd like to try in the paranormal, and there's some things that I just get the sense for me personally they ain't my style of thing, and the Ovilus is one of them. I've never been really that bothered about Mel meters either because personally for me, Andy, I just think they're a glorified K2 with a thermometer on them.
Yeah.
I don't really see the point of them. And they're another thing. There's a lot of money. The only problem is that a lot of people they will take everyday items that may cost 20 quid, realise they have a paranormal use, and suddenly they rebox them in a different box, and they're flogging them for £200 at a time. The REM pod being
Yeah.
one of the obvious examples of that. We
Well,
know.
do you know?
Go on.
You know that circuitry I use on REMpod?
Mhm.
Right. If you house your battery pack in a certain way to chipboard and aerial,
Yeah.
you've got to put it in a certain alignment. It makes it into a millimeter.
Does it?
Yeah, because like if you touch your REM or carry it, it just constantly alarms, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that wooden one that we made into that box, you could actually carry it round without it going off and put aerial up to, like a light switch and it'd go off.
Yeah.
So you've just got to house it in a certain way and it actually makes that as well.
Yeah, I ain't really, but if them got 200 odd quid a piece in there. If you have one of them with the,
Yeah,
and it is basically an air sensing thermometer. It's nothing expensive, stuck on the
yeah.
top of it. And same with the REM pod. Joanne, I can go to the loo and come back downstairs and kind of act like her ain't seen me for 2 days. And it's only because it's interesting, because Kaya is of the opinion every time you turn up, there's food involved, whether there is or whether there isn't. Have you ever used Ouija board in the house you were in? No, Alison, I've never used a Ouija here. I would. I got no qualms with using one, but I've never actually used one here. Could a succubus be a fae? Oh, there's an interesting one for you, Andy.
Well, they are. In many people's opinions, part of that collective, just an unseelie version.
So are succubus considered an actual fae, or are they called somewhere else in the fae?
No, it's same name like incubus and succubus, but it'd be well, I don't know. I've never really looked because like we've never come across out that could be like one of them.
It,
You
it,
know,
not that the wishful
only one
thinking ain't there.
well, only one you get really what we hear about is ancient ramming, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's only one you really hear about that's local to us. But now they are documented in fair groupings, but I don't know. I can't really comment unless we meet one if it is real, or what we consider to be real.
Sam said, yeah, the paranormal companies are out for the suckers a lot of the time, and that's very true, Sam. That is very true. Question, I've read that. Charles says, Brett Andy, what's your thoughts on antique Ouija board? Well, mine personally, Charles, doesn't matter whether it's antique or whether you use pieces of paper and a glass. You'll still get results on them if you use them correctly and treat them with the respect they deserve. Andy?
Yeah, yeah, I'm the same.
I don't think you'll get better results on a board just because it's antique. You can literally write letters on a piece of paper, arrange them in a circle on a piece of glass, and use a wine glass and happily have a Ouija board that works just as well as one that's 200 years old.
Yeah.
Coco, thanks for that. Right, the neighbours have let the dogs out, the puppies out, I think, for a week. Coco has to go and bark to let them know I was there. Llama says he thinks he met a succubus. I think if you'd have met a succubus, you'd have known. You wouldn't think you'd have known, Llama.
Yeah, I think you know about that.
Joanne says, I wonder who decided on those names for incubus and succubus. They're very old names, isn't they? I suppose.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you who actually plumped for them, but to me they sound Greek.
Yeah.
They actually sound Greek. I ain't saying they are, but they do actually sound Greek to me. So there's this, and if you think about it, a lot, and particularly with a lot of the Fae nowadays, it's the Greek, the ancient Greek words for them that are used in it, rather than whatever was used before then. A lot of the mythology has come from the Greek language. You're welcome, Charles. That's what we're here for. We just sit and babble about anything paranormal. Absolutely anything. We have some really weird discussions. Even to the point of
Do.
if the world's ending and there was a portal in front of you to go to fairyland, would you go through it? That was an interesting discussion one night. Or argument, depending on how you looked at it.
More of an argument, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. Honestly, Joanne, I don't know, but to me they sound like them possibly Greek. I could be totally wrong, but to me they sound, like ancient Greek type words. Google it and let us know. Yeah, ancient Egyptian. Thing is, though, I think the ancient Greeks actually predated the ancient Egyptians, didn't they?
Did they?
I think so.
Yeah, right.
Oh, when I picked the ghost woman up, um, I basically picked a passenger up on my bus one night,
Oh
15,
yeah.
15 minutes from finishing work. Took her all the way to a shopping centre. Never stopped the bus once on the way from picking her up to get into the terminus. And when I turned around to tell her to get off the bus, she'd vanished. Was not the most pleasant of experiences I've ever had when driving, but there you go. But she looked perfectly solid. Showed me a bus pass. Never said a word to me. I did actually speak to her a couple of times, and she never answered me. And I just thought she was ignorant. And then when we got to the terminus, she was gone. Late Latin succuba. There you go. Succubus to the beneath. To lie beneath. Normally they get on top, don't they, succubus? They do though, don't they?
Yeah, yeah.
They're well known for climbing on top. It's one of... Are you going to start singing now? The door's still open. Coco's singing at me now. But yeah, that and that bus is the bus that I was on, which it was number 107, because each bus has an identifier. Um, 5 drivers altogether had really strange experiences on it, and one driver actually deserted it in the middle of a route and refused to drive it. Sub under and Cubert to lie. Okay, Alison, have a good night. Night, Alison. There you go. Well, I actually spelt it right for once.
Oh yeah.
She was dressed like your typical old biddy. She'd got trousers on, heavy overcoat, and an headscarf. And that's all I can remember of her. And she was hunched
Bloody
up.
headscarf.
Yeah, hunched up. Because it was middle of winter, Andy. She was hunched
Yeah.
up, got on the bus. She actually showed me a bus pass. Never said a word to him. But she looked solid. She didn't look transparent or anything.
Yeah.
Looked totally solid. And she sat right behind me on the bus. And there's an actual screen behind the driver in the first seat, so people ain't staring at the back of your head. So you can't see the people who sit right behind you. And I took her for 15 minutes, and then when I got to the shopping centre to dump her off at 10 o'clock at night, bear in mind it was 10 o'clock at night, turned round to tell her to get off and she weren't there. It depends how they like it. Yeah, you'll find the vast majority of succubus encounters, they basically describe them crawling on top of them, don't they, and being totally at the mercy.
Yep.
To be honest with you, I can't think of any cases where they've claimed they've wiggled underneath. Can you?
I think it'd make it very awkward.
Of course it would. They'd have to
'Cause you're
levitate.
gonna be.
They'd have to levitate you and revolve you in air.
Yeah, I mean, it's the suggestion there that you're going to be willing,
Mm,
isn't there?
exactly. You've got to move to let them get there. Yeah, most of all the cases I can think of, they've actually appeared on top of the victim, and obviously with the incubus, that's more of a natural position to assume anyway. But even the succubus I've read about have always appeared on top of people, and it's quite interesting in that succubus tend to appear in a lot of sleep paralysis cases as well.
Yeah, yeah.
But a lot of the times then, they describe her as an ugly old woman, and they're a proper hag.
Mhm.
But to me, I'd like to see how that works, because nobody's going to get excited if they see the granny crawling on top of them, are they?
Which suggests that they might glamour you, you know.
And they must have to.
It might be wonderful from from your side of things. Until they let you out at last minute and you're like, oh my god, what's happened? Terrifying.
Succubus means to succumb to a cucumber.
Oh god.
Incubus means to signify cucumber is in. There's a henge up on the side of Skye. I believe it is, well, one of the Scottish islands they have discovered is older than Stonehenge. Would love to visit that one. That one they discovered that was buried. I can't remember what the name of that one is. But I'm pretty sure that one predates Stonehenge by about 8,000 years.
Is it close by?
Which question, Llama? I think incubus and succubus is sex education for the paranormal, lol. Earth cucumber described as traffic cone, lol. Yeah, I know there's one that was discovered in, was it Iraq? That used to be Mesopotamia. I know there's been one, there was one discovered that they've proven it was built 8,000 years before Stonehenge, and it was deliberately buried. And it apparently they found out it was used for hundreds of years as like the main area of worship, and then for some reason they buried it intact and moved.
Right. I know they found a really, really, really old one at top of Scotland as well on it. What coastline, weren't it? Like water had come over it.
Oh, I don't know. I ain't heard of that one.
Yeah, yeah. It was quite recent. I think it was only a couple of years ago they found it. Maybe even last year. And that predates Stonehenge as well.
Well, the thing is, what a lot of people don't realise is from ancient times, when things like Stonehenge and the ancient Egyptians and so-called Atlantis was around, since then the sea has actually risen 400 feet. You know, so the Mediterranean is riddled with cities on the bottom of the seabed.
Yeah.
There's hundreds of them. You know, so there's probably more than we know about out there, Andy, all around the coast of the UK. Serious question: could a demon be? Is that meant to be demon? Be haunted?
I don't know.
Could a what? I think he means dildo.
Yeah. Starting with that again.
Mm-hmm. It is Elf. They believe that was the first one. Then they built them down the country in progression. Well, most of them are actually built on directly on top of ley lines.
Yes.
Llama, get off that subject. Some paranormal YouTuber claimed to be attacked by a succubus, but he got more screwed last Friday, lol. Apparently Stonehenge stones are not... No, they would. I think they were quarried from Wales. A lot of the stones in Stonehenge. I think they got a lot of the big ones from Wales. But how they moved them was the most interesting. Because one of the... Yeah, I know it weren't demon, and get off the subject, Llama. One of the recent things is that theories is they moved them by sound, Andy.
Mm.
They used them...
Like what Tibetans have been doing.
Yeah. But the thing is, surely it'd shatter.
I don't know.
Welcome back, Joanne. But I know that's one of the recent theories is that they moved the giant blocks by sonic waves. Yeah. I'd have thought that would have damaged the edges and stuff. Don't encourage him, Chris. He knows that talking about that is a danger of being kicked. That was an incubus, Sam. Yeah, but that's another thing, you know. Was it an incubus or was it a succubus that attacked him in the ancient ram? Because I know that John, who used to keep the place, he never mentioned an incubus in the place. he only ever mentioned a succubus, and now
Yeah, he did, didn't
and just like East Drive, suddenly there's an incubus and a succubus. Where in East Drive there was a black mass, that's now suddenly become a black monk, and it's all down to paranormal teams propagating myth and rumour. Think it was on a Time Team special. It'll be interesting to find out where that stone circle is, Andy.
I think Cat were on about the same one as me, Isle of Skye, up there.
Now, Llama, I'm not prudish, but we're actually talking about the paranormal. We do joke about things, but there's certain things you don't need to keep pushing because they're pointless questions. Rammed in the ramming, literally, Sam.
Hmm.
What's your theory on black magic? Oh, Charles, don't get me started.
Uh,
Right,
One of
Charles.
your favourite
Yeah,
topics, isn't
this
it?
this this is one of my pet hates. There is no such thing as black magic and white magic. Magic is one thing. It is all down to intent. So these people who go, I'm a black witch, I'm a white witch, I'm a grey witch, load of rubbish. It's all down to intent. They're a witch who just uses magic for different purposes. But there's no such thing as black magic and white magic. I have to disagree with Terry Pratchett. There are no colours in magic. Andy?
Only thing with it is you pay for what you do.
Yep.
That's
What?
all you have to remember.
Yeah. What's your opinion on black magic, white magic, green magic, bloody weather magic?
Now, it's all one and the same thing. And like I said, you can practice whatever you want. It's down to your intent, but get prepared to pay for what you do. In some way, shape, or form, because the universe demands it.
Yeah. You'll find most pagans in one form or another believe in the threefold consequence theories when it comes to magic, where whatever you give out will return to you threefold. So if you're into doing negative magic, and I won't say black magic, I will say negative magic, you are going to get that negativity back 3 times as bad, or in 3 separate instances. Yeah, but this is the thing, Llama, that there was never ever, when John ran the ram in, there was never any mention of an incubus at the Rams Inn. It was always a succubus. Exactly, Joanne. You're either a witch or you're not. You're not a black witch. You're not a white witch. You're not a green witch. You're not a grey witch. I even had one woman months ago trying to convince me she was a weather witch, which I found highly amusing. I'm just a witch and a pest, lol. But as to colours of magic, there are none. Magic is all intent. You could just as easily perform what somebody classes as white magic, and then in the very next thing, do something that people would consider black magic. It's all down to your intent, and it's the same with things like love spells. When you get these witches trying to sell you love potions and stuff like that, if they are targeted at a specific person, they are talking rubbish to you. Because you could do a love spell that generally brings love to you, but if you're doing spells specifically targeted at somebody, you are interfering with their free will, and that is never a good thing. The mark of Cain. There's people believing all sorts of things. There's still people who believe, true witches have got 3 nipples.
They
But
have. I'm looking down at my third one now.
how low are you looking? Magic is a fascinating subject, Elf, but it is not the be all and end all of being pagan or being a witch. You know, it is not the be all and end all. It's just it's just one factor of paganism, and this is where modern day theories and modern day opinions with the media and Hollywood and that kind of thing have really coloured people's opinions on what paganism is, because straight away they think you worship the devil. Now there isn't a pagan on the planet who will even acknowledge the devil, because
Very
they
true. If you,
well, a true pagan,
yeah,
because you don't even
yeah,
believe in the devil. The devil was a corruption of other pagan gods that they decided to paint a black picture of to further the causes of Christianity. The devil is totally a Christian construction. So there is.
it really bothers me how they've tainted pentagram as well and
Yeah,
pentacle.
yeah,
Mainly pentacle, which is like it's a soft version of pentagram.
yeah,
It's a more protected version, if you will, and
yeah,
they've really corrupted it.
yeah. The pentacle was a symbol of protection. It was a symbol of good. It was a symbol of protection.
Yeah.
And Satanists are technically anti-Christians. They're not. I don't class Satanists as true pagans. I class them as anti-Christians,
Yeah.
because they're basically worshipping a Christian angel. They don't actually have pagan beliefs as such. They're worshipping an entity out of the Bible, not out of
Uh-huh.
anything that come from paganism. Whether black or white, lol. It was like that tongue twister I was trying on Jamie the other day, and she refused to say it. She thought it was a riddle. If two witches were watching two watches, which witch watches which watch? And she thought it was a riddle, and I'm like, no, it's a tongue twister. What do you think of the birthstones zodiac? Um, I ain't really got into much astrology, to be honest with you. I do believe that depending on when you were born, links to what element you're connected to, and I suppose it has a link to stones, and I do believe certain stones are linked to certain elements, but it's something I ain't really gone into big time, Charles. As to horoscopes in relation to the zodiac, I just think they're mumbo jumbo. Andy?
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely something to stones and to trees as well. Because you can look at
Yeah,
your Celtic birth tree and stuff like that, which you did that with your one, didn't you?
yeah.
You used
That's why
birch.
my one's
Um,
birch.
yeah. Um, I do kind of follow it for elemental value of it. Um, but like you though, in regards to horoscopes, but I do find numerology a little bit interesting as
Yeah,
well.
I like numerology.
Yeah, it's a bit more in depth into it and a bit
Yeah,
more, you know, finding patterns and stuff with numbers and everything was really cool.
yeah. But as for horoscopes, I just think there's something for to keep bored housewives amused in magazines. The religion ran churches conditioned us as kids to class pagan as antichrist. Looking back, what they did was like, yeah, it's exactly right, Sam. They basically built their churches on pagan worship sites. They put all their festivals on pagan festival dates, or as near to them as possible, and then they corrupted certain pagan gods as black because it benefited the Christians to say that the pagans were worshipping dark gods when it was complete rubbish. No problem, Nicky. You have multiple stones for your birth, not just one. See, I tend to have an affinity for the black stones, Andy. But onyx is
Ah, yeah,
is one of my birthstones anyway.
yeah.
So and I just like the colour black. Always have done. And that's why I tend to get. But it turns out onyx is one of my, Capricorn stone. So there you go.
Mm.
I don't know what. Well, I suppose there are multiple stones. But you're right there, Sam. The churches did basically just lie to everybody, and pagans don't really force their religion down, their beliefs. I say religion because paganism isn't a religion; it's a belief system. Wicca's a religion, but pagans don't force their belief system down other people's throats. Where unfortunately the opposite can't be said to be the case. 13th August meaning paganism. What do you mean, Selena? Do you understand what Selena's saying there, Andy?
I, I don't know if she's asking if it's a certain date, if it matches up to Altar. 13th of August.
See, a lot of the pagan festivals, Selena, aren't always necessary on a fixed day. Yule, for example, starts on the 20th of December, I believe, and finishes on the 2nd of January. And that's your Yule
Yes.
period.
Yeah, some of them go on for like a week and that, don't
Yeah.
they?
Where others are fixed dates, but a lot of the pagan festivals do, and they can actually move as well. Because paganism is more tied to a lunar calendar than a Gregorian one. Nikki says, "Are you feeling okay now, Andy?"
Yeah, I'm a bit better now, cheers. Now I've got to have my hot flush.
It's the menopause.
It is.
Charles says, a guy once read my cards, but in box he had two steel balls. Okay. Um, no idea why. They obviously had some kind of personal meaning for him. I couldn't tell you why. Have you ever heard anything connected to two steel balls?
No, I mean, not apart from like Superman. Yeah,
Yeah,
balls of steel, isn't
yeah.
it?
I've no idea. I've no idea, Charles. That was probably a personal belief of his own. See, what you've got to realise with paganism is there is and even Wicca, which is an actual organised religion. They are personal belief religions. They are not centralised in any way, shape, or form. You'll find the vast majority of pagans will actually pull in various aspects from Wicca, from Druidism, from shamanism, from all areas of what is covered by the pagan umbrella. It is totally a personal belief system. There is no right or wrong in it. There's no pagan equivalent of the Vatican. You know, it is all down to what you personally believe and what you wish to bring into your belief system. Nikki says it's more like menopause. But as for having two steel balls in there, Charles, I have absolutely no idea. Maybe for him personally, he thought it removed negative energy away from the cards. Could be one possible explanation when they were stored in the box, which could be one thing for it. They could be considered magnets to draw the energy off once he's finished with the cards. But honestly, don't know. It's not something I've ever done and not something I've actually ever heard of. Yeah, I've heard that you can use two balls to relax, Sam. I think you can get them from Ann Summers as well. They normally refer to them as eggs rather than balls. Give women a break, lol.
Oh dear.
Japanese mirror balls. I can't. To be honest with you, Sam, I can't say I've ever encountered them. You ever heard of them, Andy?
No, but I'm gonna do a quick Google.
Yeah. See if they come with batteries. All right. It could very well be that he considered them some kind of way to drain off the energy off the cards once you finish with them. Because if you're doing a reading for somebody in person, Charles, you normally get them to shuffle the cards, and the idea is they transfer some of their energy into the cards. So they could be one way of pulling that energy off once the cards were put back in the box, so that they were clear for the next reading. Could be something as simple as that. Well, Joanne, you got it. That'd be good, Joanne. Wish we could pause a man.
uh, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing that gets me, they keep going on about men, Andy, but they always get married in white.
They what? Sorry.
They always women. They always get married in white, and they're moaning about men, but they
Oh
always
yeah.
marry in white. And you know why, don't you?
Yeah.
To match the rest of the domestic appliances.
Oh, dear.
Don't start your feminism with me, ladies.
Oh, don't bring it. Stop bringing it at us.
The Japan balls have a bell inside them and tingle a tune. Oh, these sound interesting, Sam. When you move them on your hand. Not discreet, Sammy. I don't know whether Charles is saying it makes sense that women get married in white. Or whether he was on about the balls draining off the energy. Do you know, I think my dad actually brought some back from Hong Kong, not Japan. I'm pretty sure my dad had some, and they do handy when you roll them. I think I know what she's on about now. You used to have to roll them round in your hand, and they made like a gonging sound as you rolled
Alright.
them round. But my dad brought them back from Hong Kong when he was in the army.
Right.
Cat says he'll never get married. Nah, it's a wise decision, that cat. But the woman problems always contain the word men. Menstrual, menopause, need I say more? Both, Brett Lowell. See, they always say you can't beat a good woman, but I beg to differ. Oh, I've lost my papers again. I always say that to Jamie because I likes it.
What, that you've lost your papers again?
Now that you can't beat a good woman, but I disagree. Or Ellen. Ellen would be another example.
Aye, she would.
I'd agree with that one. You can act. There is a pagan ceremony where you can get married called an hand-fasting ceremony. The difference is, it doesn't have to be a permanent thing in paganism. It can have a set time period on it. You can do it permanently if you want to, but you've also have the option. You know, one of the common ones is a year and a day to set a time limit on an hand-fasting ritual. So it's like a temporary marriage, and I think that's a much better way than the system we got now.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely cheaper than divorce, if you've already agreed when you're going to part. Actually, you can, Stephen. I think Nan got them balls for her son. 'Cause he deaf, he can feel the balls. Yeah, I know what you're on about, Chris. My dad had got, and they were in a little velvet, a wooden box with a velvet lining. And you literally, they were about a bit smaller than ping pong balls. And you used to roll them on your palm, and they used to make like almost, like the Tibetan chiming sound, Andy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They were like that as they moved around in your palm, and they are relaxing.
Mm.
Another question: what are your thoughts on the wow signal that Earth received in the 70s. I believe it's genuine, Joanne, because they've analysed it for so long now, and they've ascertained that it definitely is, it definitely isn't naturally produced. It was artificial, and they're still actually scanning the Sagittarius constellation now, looking for a repeat of it.
I think we were talking about that on Friday, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's them, Brett. They're used for relaxation. Yeah, they are very relaxing, Sam. There was a trend on YouTube called the foil ball challenges. Jesus, that's a mouthful. And there were toddlers in Japan that could turn sheets of tin, foil
I've just
balls,
been looking at
perfect.
that. That's what when I googled it, it were all about them crushing up tin foil and then highly polishing it to make the solid ball.
They're not sexual thing, I don't. They could be, Chris. Yeah, Sam play. You jangle as you walked. Yeah, some playful trinket does seem witchy in a positive way. Really, were you, Andy? Wow. Yeah,
Really?
Joanne, I do
Oh yeah.
believe it. I do believe it's a genuine signal because that they've actually done tests on it, and they can't find anything else in the galaxy that would naturally produce that signal. The amplitude of it and the length of it was amazing for what they normally receive. I actually run SETI at home on my computer, so when my computer ain't being used, the screensaver comes up and it downloads from SETI, and my computer processes the signals and then sends them back to SETI. So if anybody's interested in doing that, if they want to help SETI with analysing the signals, just Google SETI at home and you can download the screensaver. And it don't cost you nothing or anything, but you're doing them a favour while your computer's idle. Joanne says has got a new talent, I can read minds.
Right, Brett, I'm going to have to jump off because my brother's coming to pick me up in 5.
What time is it? Right, we'll call it a night then, folks. We'll have an early one tonight. Well, it's early. We've been on since 9 o'clock and it's nearly 12. So, thanks for coming on, everybody. But Andy has got to get off because he's got somewhere to go.
Yeah.
So, thanks for coming on, Andy, and helping again.
Yeah, no worries.
And thank you for everybody for coming on. It is appreciated, and I do enjoy the chats we have every week. Friday, it sounds like we're doing something with Rose. So
Yeah.
I'll let you know later on in the week what's going on with that. And just thanks again, everybody, and we'll see you all soon.
Yeah. Cheers, everybody.
Hang on, I'll just put it in the thing for you. SETI at home. SETI, not SETI. Jesus Christ, I can't spell. Right, have a good night, everybody, and we'll speak to you soon. Night all.
Good night, all.